What's going on, everybody? It's Dot Bets. We're checking back in. We got our PGA on the dot live stream covering the Farmers Insurance Open this week. Fresh off of the American Express tournament last week. Kind of a weird one, but we are full throttle for the rest of the season, I think. I think every tournament from here on out is straightforward. So how are we doing tonight? Teaser, aka Teaser Nation, bet with the boys, golf. How are we feeling, buddy?
Good. Like you said, last week was a weird one. I was feeling good after round one. Poston, man, he went 10 under, had the first round lead, then kind of blew it on Friday, but kind of came back a little bit and placed well for the one and done. But overall, looking forward to this week. Have kind of more of a stable course here. We kind of know what goes on here, who plays well, and stuff like that. Another 2-course setup though, which isn't too bad. Obviously, the North Course always plays relatively easier than the South Course. And then another tidbit: they're moving the Genesis here in a month to Torrey due to like the wildfires. So that'll be interesting how they set it up again. Yeah, so maybe they make that more like a major type venue. So that'll be interesting to see how they kind of change.
They probably won't cut the rough at all.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Hopefully they do like more of a U.S. Open type vibe for it. So
yeah. Well, I played this course last year. I played the North Course, and aka my hat, as everybody can see, because you always have to just ball out in the in the clubhouse for sure. But they didn't. I think it was a bunch of rain, and they did not cut the rough at all. And I think it's supposed to be like 4 or 5 inches this week. But you would seriously hit a drive, and it would roll off the fairway, and then you would lose your ball. You couldn't see it. So obviously they're going to find their ball this week, but it's going to be very, you want to make sure you're accurate and long off the tee here, which always helps. And that's why I shot like 175. But I couldn't count that high. All right. So appreciate you guys tuning in. I actually had a plus 15,000 sweat last week. Hoffman was up there, threw I think $10 on him, but it was a nice little sweat. Would have been, I think he got 4th or tied for 4th. But
he kind of blew it on the back nine there, but no one was catching Straka. He just had a hell of a week. He didn't bogey till the 70th hole or something when he was already up 5. So
right. But yeah, so if this is your first time tuning in, we will get right up to it. This one's a little bit different from the ones that we've done in the past, since usually you have Tuesday and Wednesday to kind of prepare. This setup is Wednesday through Saturday due to the NFL owning Sunday with the conference championships. So they don't want to compete with them. Has not gone well. About 5 years ago, like no one watched at all. Yeah. So they went ahead and switched it. So that's why tonight we'll probably have a little bit more in-depth and know who I know my outrights. I know my top 20 that I'm going to give out. So a little bit more in-depth show here. So as always, if you guys are here, say what's up in the chat. And if you guys have not yet subscribed to the channel, we are closing in on 200 subscribers, which is pretty cool. I would have never guessed I would have 200 subscribers on YouTube. So it's pretty cool. And as always, hit that thumbs up and let us know what you guys are on this week. Appreciate you guys tuning in. All right, Teaser, show us. We got Brandon in the chat. What's up, buddy? Brandon, always showing love. Appreciate it. All right. Tell us what we should be looking for, best attributes, and who do we want for our golfers? What style of golf are we looking to put into our betting cards here? Yeah,
there's 2 angles you can kind of look at it this week. It's like you said, you don't want to be in the rough in general here. But if you're long, it'll help here off the tee. Just total driving in general. We've seen a lot of short guys who do well here, keep it in the fairway, or a lot of long guys who just bomb it and have a good week driving as well. A couple comp courses I look at, and that's another thing, long and like tough, difficult conditions is a good kind of attribute to look at. Some guys are grinders. You need more of that here. It's not going to be a birdie fest at all this week. So, I'm happy about that and kind of go back to, a grinded out type tournament. So look, a couple course comps, Bethpage, where we see, hold U.S. Opens, Wingfoot, TBC Harding Park, and Quail Hollow all hold major venues. So always thick rough, key on driving accuracy and total driving in general. Another big stat here is proximity from 175 plus. I think there's 4 par 4s measuring over 450 yards, 3 par 3s over 200 yards, and 2 par 5s over 600 yards. So not even the par 5s are that gettable. So those are important if you can, manage to make birdie on those. So yeah, significant emphasis on long irons. That's why you'll probably see a lot of Aaron Rye this week, which we'll get to some key emphasis on the 200 yards plus. So yeah, just really at par 4 scoring, par 5 from 550 to 600 scoring. That's the premium I looked at, and top 5 in that is Hideki, Harris English, Aaron Rye, and Doug Gim. A couple guys that kind of excel in that par 4 range and par 5 range. So
yeah. All right, so let's get into our placements, and we'll go through it on the model here as well. So let us know in the chat who you guys are on, if you guys are tailing, fading, if you guys have any questions on who's playing what course first, yada, yada, yada. So, All right, so everybody is going to be on probably the top 5 or 6 guys right here, maybe even 7. Ludwig, he's like plus 900, and there's no reason no one should not play him. I mean, he's just that good. And it's just, for me, at 900, 9 to 1, just kind of doesn't do it for me for Ludwig, but he's a great play. He's a great play. If you want to play DFS, he should be the most highly owned golfer this week. Hideki, nice, should score well as well. And then, as Brandon has it right here, Jason Day, he's a very, very popular play. Course history has to be like at least top 3 in the whole field. Guy right below him, Tony Finau, Sung Jae, who basically screwed the entire golf Twitter last week. Luckily, if you tuned in, we did not play him at all. And then you also have Willie Z and Max Homa to round out these top 7 right there. Probably the 7 most popular players this week. Yeah, Ludwig, Matsuyama, Sung Jae, Finau, Day, Willie Z. They're all top 6, top 5 in ownership in DFS as well. Yep. Are there any red flags with any of them?
I mean, with Aberg, betting wise, I mean, DFS is a different story that I usually don't get into. That's more your field. But with him, I mean, betting wise, I've seen a lot of people on the 10 to 1. Personally, I'm not going to go there with it. I don't think there's no value there in betting the favorite here. I mean, he's definitely a course fit here. We saw him play well, I think last year it was here. So yeah, I mean, I'm just not going to get there with the 10 to 1.
Right.
So yeah, that's my thing on him.
The one thing I think I'd rather do for Ludwig this week is to target him either in round matchups,
for sure,
or try to get, like we always do, don't take it pre-tournament, but see how he's doing in the first round, and then if you get a higher number, grab it. So that's a different way to go about it. I know everyone's kind of fixated on getting an outright winner pre-tournament, but sometimes the best way to get it is mid-tournament, and you're just seeing what's going on with the throughout the rounds, who's putting well, especially on these greens, because these greens are a little bit more trickier than usual, and you can see even not the usual putters get hot in this particular one. So
I will say one guy that's a little bit of a red flag for me this week is Jason Day. Just the fact everyone's on him.
Hot take.
Yeah. I will. He played well last week. Good. I thought Birdie Fest. I mean, he's kind of been popping in those at least recently. It's just the total driving has been there for me. The 200 plus long irons. He's bottom of the model in long irons, which is kind of interesting. Sometimes he's a little iffy with the driver, and that obviously can be a problem here off the tee wise. So for me, that's a little red flag. I think more everyone's on him just because of what he did last week. I think that's a lot of the reason. So
yeah, then you look at this right here, real quick. One of the best in the field. He's played this since 2010. 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, that's also prime Jason
7.
Day.
Yeah,
Everything before COVID, but yeah.
but I mean, you got 2 top 10s last 3 years,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's for good measure. But if you scroll through golf Twitter, you're going to see Jason Day a ton, which
for sure.
It's merited for sure. So you just gotta. I won't. He won't make my card. He could potentially make a round matchup if I see fit. But definitely somebody that you pay attention to this weekend. My favorite out of these, obviously, cover boy Max Homa. I'm not going to take an outright on him, but he is my first top 20 play of the week. We have him. Let's see. I think it's plus 120 or plus 125. Let's see. Yep. Doing a full unit plus 125 on Max Homa here. And but me and Teaser have been texting all day about it. And you really don't know what you're getting out of Max Homa. But I mean, this course track record more recently over the Jason Days, the Justin Roses, the people that are played very, very well here, or the Willie Z's as well. I mean, but what do you got? Four top 20s and an outright in the last 5 times he's played here. So I mean, it's tough not to trust him to play well here. That's why I love the top 20. And I'd be more shocked if he didn't get top 20 than if he did. But I really, really, I mean, obviously he plays very well on the West Coast as well. So
yeah, it's tough.
I think take Homa with some confidence this week.
Yeah. I think I'm trying to get there on him. Years past, it would have been a first click for me this week with him. It's just, I know like the swing thoughts and he's trying to change his swing, change his club. So it's tough. Like I want to see some form for him first, but then the other part of me is like, I mean, he plays well here. We were on his win a couple of years ago where I was. So it just feels like home to him. He always plays at courses, plays well at courses he loves. So
he's just my first initial gut was like, okay, let me see what Homa is top 20. And then I saw his odds. I was like, I got to take that now. I mean, I thought he was going to be like plus 100, minus 110-ish. And he was, plus 125. So that's the reason I think that's the best value play of the week for me for top 20. You got any top 20s?
Best play of the week. We'll talk about this guy, and it's Willie Z week again, man. I'm confident. He'll probably let me down, but I'm back to being confident in Zalatoris. Yeah, I got one of the guys. One of the guys I talked to on Twitter know him, and he's feeling good with his golf game right now. He said like this is one of his favorite courses to play at. So, last week ball striking was great. The irons are back. I think the back obviously isn't an issue anymore. Just really the thing is with him is the putting, which is fine here. Like you just need to grind your way around. Obviously the long irons are, top tier on the PGA Tour. So from 175 plus, he's one of the best you get. Obviously, if you see his, recent form, 3 top 20s, he lost in that playoff to Luke List 3 years ago. And then one cut. That's kind of when he was injured in 23 when he was going through the, back issue. So I think he's back. I think I'm all over him this week in any placement, outright, anything you name. So
I can't. I mean, you can't argue against Willie Z at all. So definitely could see myself playing some outrights or some round matches with him. We got CCD Sports Talk. What's up, buddy? Just got to put the ball in the hole. Amazing concept there. Amazing concept for golf. You'll win a lot if you do that in less strokes than a lot of other people.
Yeah. I wish it was that easy.
Yeah. All right, let's get into my second top 20, and that we're going to do a half unit. We're going to go Aaron Rye, and I think if you scroll through any person that bets on golf, you're probably going to see this guy. 17th in the model here. basically, if he's fine off the tee, he's going to be there come Sunday.
Yep.
Plain and simple. That's I don't know how to script it any better for anybody. But we also have seen people who aren't necessarily long off the tee or very active off the team still be there. But I think this weekend, with how thick the rough's going to be, the way Aaron Rye's been playing, I think he's a very good play, top 20. I've seen some people take his outrights as well. Obviously, he's been playing very well since last July. He's been playing very, very well.
Yeah.
And then I think he doesn't have the greatest track record here, but T6, 52nd, and tied for 33rd. Just overall, you're probably going to see his name a lot, all for good reason. I think the best way to play him is the top 20. I think it's still plus 175. It's actually plus 185 on DraftKings if you want to take it on there. So a little bit steeper odds there on DraftKings. But what do you think about Aaron Rye this week?
Yeah, I don't have any complaints. I think he's obviously more like a riskier play. He's not the top tier guy, but yeah, I mean, I don't mind him at all. I also think a first round leader, because he's going off the North Course, would be a good play. We've seen him kind of go low round one. So yeah, I don't mind him. Obviously, he fits the narrative, long iron play, stuff like that. So
yep. Got any other top 20s for you?
Yeah, I haven't really locked anything in yet, but I'll just name a few guys. So I mean, this guy, which I'm a little unsure about where I'm going to take him, or even if I will, is Thomas Dietrich. Another guy who's been kind of like bursting onto the scene, I would say, and he's just not getting that win yet. I think last year, I think he's ninth. Yeah, there. I think he was
ninth in the model.
I'm pretty sure he was final group last year, and he just kind of shot a 74 or 75, and just kind of he came top 20th. But I mean, the Century, he came fifth. Sony didn't play that well, but he's just a guy where it is a little scary taking his top 20, because he's going to be there on the weekend. It's just a matter of what he does on a Saturday or Sunday. He kind of, takes himself out of contention a lot of times, as we've seen the past year. But I think he's around plus 260. So I think that's a great price on him for top 20. I believe he is. So
yeah, he's warranting some ownership in DFS. He's currently, I think, 11%, but he's probably one of the best value plays at 7,900. Him and JJ Spawn for sure.
Plus 280 for top 20. So that's I think a pretty solid number there.
Plus 280. There you go.
Yeah, and just quickly, I'll run through another guy I'm eyeing up, Harris English. I think he's 3-1 top 20. This is more of a play where it's tough to take him because he's been a little inconsistent, has horrible track record here. But it's funny because when they played Torrey Pines here, I think he had a top 5 in the U.S. Open, or when they played the U.S. Open at Torrey Pines when Rahm won. So it's a little weird. Like, this is a guy, we've seen him pop off at majors. He loves long, tough courses, usually very accurate off the tee. That's why he excels in majors and tough conditions. So a 3-1 is not the worst play on a guy like Harris English.
Harris English, what's his outright too? I've seen a lot of people take that.
I got it yesterday. I sent it 110-1. I think he's 80 now. I still would take 80. It's not the best price, but that's horrible right there. But it's like we've seen him get a top 5 at Torrey Pines in the U.S. Open, so it's just weird how he's very inconsistent. It's just a matter of if he's playing well this week. So
right. No, yep. I don't hate it. It's just someone I'm not getting there a lot this week of. I see it though, and I see the angle. My last top 20 is somebody who I don't think he rates very well in the model. It's more of a.
I think someone just said in the comments, your guy you're about to say.
That is coming up, but this guy for my top 20 here. Let me pull him up real quick. But it is Alex Smalley, and you're going to look at his metrics and be like, what? Why? And he's 72nd in the model, but his recent form, 16th, 11th, and I think he's played the Farmers okay. but he got a cut last time he was here because he was terrible off the tee. But if you,
I don't hate it.
I think he's the best option for DFS if you want a long shot at a small, like a 4 to 5% owned at 7,300. I think Alex Smalley is a pretty good option here this week. So I'm taking a stab. His top 20, I believe, was like 240, which I thought was actually going to be steeper. I thought it was going to be like more in the 300s.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in my head, I was like, okay, well, if I thought it was 300, but he's plus 240, maybe more people are on him, or maybe some sharp money has came in on him to lower those odds or whatnot. But do like Alex Smalley this week to contend, be in the mix on Sunday. But yeah, and then we have Brandon in the chat. What about Thorpe this week? I literally texted Teaser probably at 7 o'clock and was like, "Hey bud, what do you think about Thorpe this week?" Because I don't see him at all, and when I don't see him at all, I absolutely I'm so keen on trying to find the one person that nobody's talking about and hopefully go off. And this is the guy right here. So I'm taking an outright on him. So I have an outright. I think it's at 70 to 1. So I'm going to take like 0.2 units on him. But yeah, Brandon, I'm on the same wavelength as you. Guy can bomb it. And I think as long as he's good off the tee, he's got very, very huge potential to take this and go. So I'm all over Thorpe with you, buddy, and he is my third outright. So my first one I just shared, he's the last one that I put on my card, the longest odds. So
yeah,
what do you got for an outright?
So we talked about obviously Willie Z. That's going to be. I did anyone who's watching has a Bet 365. They do the each way market. So I got 40 to 1 each way with like a top 3 with it. So really they just kind of break up your 2 bets and then you have a top 3 and an outright. So I think that's a better price there on that. Because I could also see him contending and maybe coming up a little short, maybe getting that top 3 or runner up. So I'll start there. I know we talked about this guy. I guess we can both kind of talk about him. I'll say, so obviously I said Will Zalatoris, Harris English. I think did we talk about Jaeger yet? I got a 60 to 1 on Jaeger. Another guy.
Nope. See, I was looking at my card last year and I was on Jaeger top 20. So I'm there with you. I understand what you're doing. I definitely get it.
Yeah, he's another guy. Like we saw him at the Sony Open, kind of, go low there over the weekend. Great driver of the ball. Just gained a lot of distance over the past few years. Has a third here last year.
Mm-hmm.
He was in contention on the Friday. So he's playing great golf right now. Recent form's been pretty good. So another guy who can kind of bomb it. And then my last guy I'm kind of thinking on as a fourth is Keegan Bradley right now. I know we talked about him.
Yep.
I don't know. It's one of those guys where I know you can't bet like this, but if I take him, he's gonna miss a cut. If I don't take him, he's gonna play well. So he's just the epitome of that grinder guy. Another guy people are gonna be hammering this week. Everyone's gonna be on him. Obviously, has a second here, runner up. What are you gonna do with him this week?
So he's on my outright card. And I'll promise anybody I did not search through any golf Twitter until after I've made my tickets. And I was like, I thought Bradley was going to be the one guy that was the one that nobody was talking about.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this guy makes a lot of sense, but I hope I don't hear much of him. And then I'm looking through it. I'm like, oh my God, everybody's on him. That sucks. So I have my doubts. I have my doubts here with Keegan Bradley. I was on him, I think top 20 2 or 3 weeks ago. Took him first round against McIntyre. He blew it down the stretch, tried to tie it up, and then lost, I think, the last couple holes. So I do have a bad taste in my mouth with Keegan Bradley already this year. But what we've preached before, hey, go back to the well sometimes. And I think that's the case here for Keegan. I probably will target him on round matchups as well.
Yeah.
But the guy just makes so much sense this week. too much sense.
Yeah,
At a good number at 22-1.
Yeah, I think that's where I would start my card is Keegan Bradley. I think I would not touch Aberg, Matsuyama, or Sung J M. I don't think you can do that. It's tough to take that value at the top there. So I think Keegan.
Sungjae is just one guy that I was like, you're going to go back to. In my eyes, he just got off to a bad start last week, but he's one of the best ball strikers in the universe, and he's actually pretty damn good on these greens and pretty good at getting out of this thick rough. He's one of the best around the green at it. So mainly for him is off the tee. And if he can stay well, I mean, I can see him running away with it. It's just I'm not getting there with that 18-1 number. If Bradley and M were switched, I probably would have went M. But in this case, we're going to go Keegan Bradley at 22-1, and I'm going to round out my last one. We're going to go 45-1, Bo Hostler. So Bo Hostler here, another guy that I did not expect to see a ton of. I've seen a little bit, but he's 14th here in the model, and sorry, I'm trying to pull him up here. He's got crap. I don't know what I just did. There he is. All right. But yeah, so pretty good track history here. He's on a tear recently. Two back-to-back top 20s. Last week I did not even sniff his name. And of course he goes top 20. But last year top 10 here, cut before that, but then he also has another top 10 back in 2020. So plays well here. And at a 45-1 number, I do not hate it. I got his strength is off the tee and around the green and putting. So, I mean, you've got it all. As long as he keeps it straight off the tee, I think he's fine. What do you think about Bo this week?
Yeah, when you were looking at that recent form, I was on that second at Sanderson Farms. Still mad at him from the fall swing about that. Lost in the playoff, but yeah, with him, he's hot and cold. You could get the good Bo this week, the guy off the tee. It's a good play at 45 or 45-1, which you got. So if you get the good Bo, he's going to be there on the weekend. If you get the not so inconsistent Bo, he'll probably miss the cuts. I mean, that's kind of what you see in his form the past couple of years. So
it's back to a 2-round cut. So if you're new to betting golf, one group's going to go off on the north, one group's going to go out in the south, and they're going to flip, and then there's going to be a cut, and then it's off to the weekend basically on there. But it's not the weekend; it's Friday, Saturday basically. But yeah, do you got any other outrights you're looking at, or any other tidbits we should talk about? Maybe some round matchups, tournament matchups.
Yeah, do you want to do the tournament matchup thing?
Yeah, we can.
Or one that we can start it this week, the point thing.
All right, we'll start it this week. So this is a new one we're going to drop for the show.
I already know mine.
But so we're going to do a spin on the one and done. Spin on the one and done, where we're going to do a one and done matchup. So if you take, just for instance, it's not even a matchup out there, I don't think. But if you take Shane Lowry over Bo Hostler, well, then Shane Lowry is no longer used. So we'll each pick one a show and keep a running track record throughout the season, and see how it goes. And these are full on tournament matchups, so not round by round. So just make sure you guys are aware of that. So full round tournament matchups. Who is your first one, buddy?
So this is my fade of the week that I'm fading. I don't know. I just have a feeling this week. We've kind of seen.
I didn't know who you're going with.
Yeah, well, I'm doing. Well, the guy I'm taking is who I'm all over. I guess I can't use him the rest of the year, but that's okay. I'm gonna do the Zalatoris minus 120 over.
I just called that in my head.
Over Max Gracerman. So I get a guy I love this week over a guy who I'm not too keen on. I think he's more of a bird. From what we've seen from Max Graceman, this year he's kind of come on. It's more birdie fest he's excelled at. If I'm looking at recent form, like last week, tied 7th, obviously in a birdie fest. Century 24th, another birdie fest. Yeah, I mean, he's not really wowed me in, long, difficult courses like that. His proximity from 175 plus isn't really ranking well in the model. So that's what I like. That's my favorite, and that's the one I'll go with this week.
All right, Willie Z over Greyersman, I believe that's it.
Yep, Grayson.
We forgot to mention, if you do take a dog and he wins, it's an extra point. It's an extra point.
Yeah.
So that'll try to limit anybody that's like trying to take basically, Aberg, who's like minus 175 over Bradley.
Yeah.
Which I think is still pretty insane. But so mine, I'll go. I actually have not mentioned him all stream, but in my head, I'm going to be so mad at myself if I don't have anything related to this guy this week. And everyone talks about Jason Day and Zalatoris and Homa, all these different guys with great course history. One guy we did not mention this week is Tony Finau. So we're going Finau over Jason Day, minus 125. Not probably a little juicy, but I'm gonna go ahead and use Tony Finau, and you're gonna use Willie Z. So we might both be 0-1.
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep it running a little total of that each and every show. And if you guys do have a favorite round matchup, chime in, throw it in the chat. We'd love to hear from you guys throughout the rest of the season. But so yeah, we'll get up on out of here. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We will post our cards over on X. I might post it on Threads this week as well. So make sure you guys are following each other over on there. And I did. Have you ever experienced with the TikTok? Have you ever done TikTok before?
Like putting bets on there, or?
Yeah, I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to join the TikTok nation.
I haven't done that.
This week,
yeah,
so I officially am on TikTok at .bets. If anybody's out there wants to give me a follow, I'll be posting more and more videos throughout the rest of the year there. So it'd be fun. Yeah. But yeah, TikTok Nation, we're ready to roll.
I'll go on too, maybe. Yeah.
All right. We'll get up on out here. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We will see you guys same time next week. And don't ask me what the next tournament is because I'm not focused on it. I'm focused on this one.
Yep.
All right. We'll see you guys. Appreciate it.